Well, Dragon typically improves with each upgrade. It is still possible to have a situation where Dragon is working really well for a while, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day and it's like, who are you? And it doesn't understand a thing you are saying. Now, granted, that doesn't happen very often, thankfully, but it does happen. The natural response is to either download a previous set of your audio files, or worse yet, have to start over, or give up on Dragon altogether. Before you do any of those three options, consider these three possibilities before doing that. Number one, ask yourself this question. If you're using a headset mic or the remote microphone, ask yourself this question. Have I been consistent with my placement? I know if you're using a headset microphone, a lot of times those things can loosen up over time, and just subtle changes in the placement of the microphone can dramatically affect your recognition, especially if it loosens up over time. Sometimes just retightening the headset part of the microphone can make a ton of difference in terms of speech recognition. Same thing with your microphone placement if you use a desktop microphone or the remote microphone. If that's changed, then you need to go back to what you did when it was working well. The second thing that you want to think about is, has there been changes in your environment? I know if you have visitors sometimes, or if your family expands, or if you've got a bunch of activity going on that you didn't have going on before, that can affect recognition. You may want to choose to do your speech recognition at a different point in the day. And then there's a third thing to think about that a lot of people miss. And that is, if you've been recently sick or just tired or stressed, your voice tends to change a little bit. Maybe not enough to do retraining, but it does tend to change a little bit. And one thing that you might want to consider doing during those times is, before you go make new speech files, consider moving the slider to a slower speed under the options tab to give Dragon more time to process what you say. Now, you can move this back as your recognition picks up again. But I find sometimes just doing that occasionally, if my recognition is suffering, will sometimes improve my performance significantly over time. And that is because it's not that my files have been corrupted, but there's been just enough of a subtle change in me, or in what's going on in me, that Dragon needs a little bit more time to process. And so I highly recommend doing those three things before you go to the extreme of throwing out your voice files altogether and having to redo your unique vocabularies and stuff like that. So that's just a tip, and I hope it helps.